But even worse than that, there are some curators that don't put any effort. For example, this is critiquing Doge. Many beats such journey very dance. Every single review is this silly little
I'll
meme.
pass.
There's other.
There you go. The critiquing dog. It's cringe. Sorry. And he even recommended a trash game. Quantum
Go to the
Break.
next one.
I mean, it's
Key Hub. Huge, beautiful world game based on Turkish city Erzurum. Play for the story, stay for the sandbox free roam. Sounds like a good review, right? Well, the story's not in the game yet, so...
How did we reach this point, Steam? How did we arrive at a juncture where Steam has no gatekeeping for games? No measures to prevent scammers? No safeguards to protect against individuals who exploit the platform to cause genuine harm to others striving to make a positive impact on the community? What led us here? Let's start from the beginning, through the perspective of a curator who's been on the platform nearly since the inception of curators. Let's start the timeline on December 24th, 2015. It was my first year in college, on winter break, when I decided to create a cute little group dedicated to people who loved the breed of dog, the Shiba Inu. It was a harmless group to bring friends from all over the world together to share cute stories and photos of sheeps and potentially make lasting friendships. 4 days after creating the group, I was one day mindlessly browsing around the different Steam group features and stumbled upon an intriguing curator tab and was curious to explore what that was about. At the time, it was a fascinating aspect of Steam groups, allowing members to provide brief and benign recommendations, as opposed to reviews, for games they found enjoyable. These recommendations could be rated with either a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It's worth noting that the character limit was minimal, making it more suitable for a brief recommendation rather than a lengthy review. Me, being a dumb college kid that didn't have anything better to do with their time, spent hours recommending random games and fiddling around with the curator system, as it was a completely new concept to me given I had only been on the platform since March 23rd of 2012. At the time, there was no incentive to be a curator or write recommendations, as the Curator Connect platform had yet to be fleshed out. Initially, my recommendations started out as nothing more than the same copy-pasta recommendation for every game I recommended. Typically, it was along the lines of has cards or has X, X referring to a specific aspect of the game. Although my recommendations were not particularly helpful at the time, I experienced a surge of dopamine whenever I logged into Steam and saw a few people following my curator page. This encouraged more people to join the Steam group, which felt gratifying and made me feel as though I had formed a genuine community of individuals who shared a love for Shiba Inus and quality games. What had initially been a little exploration gradually transformed into a passionate hobby of mine. I even became inventive, adding Doge ASCII art to my game reviews at one point. The reviews were still just 2 words, but the art was in the form of Doge through ASCII and contained a link to my curator page at the bottom. As my followers and member count increased, I began organizing enjoyable activities with the group, including giveaways and events on our Discord. Within a year of posting my distinct reviews and recommendations on Steam, I received a message from a Steam global moderator. They informed me that my reviews and recommendations were considered to be abusing the review system and advised me to delete them or change the format. While it was understandable as my reviews were very spammy, it is now clear that many aren't held to the same standard as I was years ago, as you now see one word or even one symbol recommendations that can't even be uniquely distinguished. After complying with the moderator's request, I went back to the drawing board and developed a new idea for concise and impartial recommendations. I decided to use the Doge format since it was suitable for the group I originally created as a fan page for Shiba Inus. I created authentic recommendations based on my favorite games with a fair rating system of 1 to 10. I made every recommendation independently without any personal benefit or gain, simply because I enjoyed playing and suggesting great games to gamers worldwide. My ultimate goal was to build a community centered around my passion for both sheebs and games. As my page gained more and more followers, the Steam Curator feature as a whole started to expand. Some curators posted traditional game reviews. Some of them held their own niche, like myself and other pages, while others were straight to the point. Despite varying preferences among users, the general trend was that curators ran their pages for fun and did not receive any financial gain from it on Steam. The concept of having a group or following recommendations or tag games on Steam as something they endorse was unique and still holds true to this day as a novel idea. However, the execution of this idea has not been perfect, leading us to our next point in our timeline, October 6th, 2017. The day when the Steam Curator Uplift was introduced in beta. On that particular day, upon logging into Steam, I received a notification informing me that I was chosen, along with 113 other unique curators, to participate in a new uplift to the Steam Curator system. This concept was built around 3 pillars that focused on players, curators, and game developers. The announcement was brimming with potential, offering features such as the ability to categorize your recommendations into lists, customize your own curator profile, and even link your reviews on recommendations, regardless of their location. Most notably, it emphasized bridging the communication gap between game developers and curators, which was a fantastic development. Before this update, typically, you would either be added on Steam and receive a review copy, or be emailed and sent one-to-many review keys. I recall visiting the new portal on that same day and being astounded by the sheer number of games that were already being sent to me. The improvements to the outdated curator system appeared to be highly promising, as they were based on suggestions from some of the leading game critics in the industry, including Total Biscuit and Sterling, who had visited the HQ earlier that year. However, Steam had overlooked one critical aspect, which they have consistently failed to address, and that is moderation. In the months following the release of the updated curator system, the disingenuous and fraudulent pages started to emerge. There were resellers scamming developers out of keys and stating it was a quote-unquote source of income to own a few Steam curator groups. Others exploited the platform to get free games simply to enhance their presence on other platforms, since sending games to curators had become very easy. Some even posed as fake curators, then vanished off the platform after receiving games that they were supposed to play and recommend, only to turn around and sell the games at inflating prices. I myself have even fallen target to the scams at one point, in which a group of bots used a fake email address that resembled mine to request keys from indie developers. Fast forward to August 28th, 2022. A scam arose that was the eventual nail in the coffin for curators. An independent game studio by the name of Cowcat Games took to Twitter to voice their concerns. They claimed that their game, Brock the Investigator, had been targeted by malicious curators who provided fraudulent negative reviews, and that these individuals were selling keys obtained from the developer on gray sites such as Kinguin, Gamevo, and G2A. This incident further tarnished the reputation of curators and ultimately resulted in Steam support taking action by banning these disreputable pages. Steam curators quickly gained a negative reputation after this incident. Numerous articles and Reddit threads flooded in, criticizing curators for becoming useless, annoying, and hindering the platform. Many argued that ignoring over 100 curators was not enough, and that spam curators were simply dull and no longer entertaining. Some suggested that any niche outside of the typical review page should be classified as spam and removed. Others claimed that there was no longer a point in having curators altogether, particularly when an incident of this magnitude can occur without any moderation or oversight. That's where we wrap back around to the current point in our timeline, where I'm at now as a curator, and how I feel going forward with this. I've been doing this since 2015 and have made $0 throughout the entire process. The only benefit I ever accepted beyond a free review copy of a game was a VR headset a while back while I was a broke student in college, so that I could jump into the genre of curating VR games. Numerous individuals have offered me money and other financial incentives, but I've turned them all down. My goal has always been for both my recommendations and the Steam Curator platform as a whole to be authentic and not influenced by money. Over the years, I've devoted countless hours of my free time to playing and evaluating over 8,200 games that I've received, giving each one an equal chance. Despite my efforts to maintain the same genuine approach I had when I started in 2015, I'm now exhausted and can no longer ignore the problems with this platform. I can no longer ignore when Steam opts in for muting curators as a whole by graying out their profile pictures and not promoting them beyond a single winter sale instead of addressing the actual problem. As one of the top curators on Steam, I feel a responsibility to speak out and push for change. Scammers and fraudsters are ruining the platform for everyone, leaving a bad taste in people's mouths when they hear the term Steam Curator. It's painful to see so many discussions criticizing the platform and the curators, and it's even more discouraging to see Steam remaining silent on the issue. It's time for things to change. It's time for the curators to be curated. In the last year, ever since the Brock incident, I've experienced a decline in followers and have lost the passion I once had for recommending games. I've made numerous attempts to reach out to my only contact at Valve and urge them to address the issues with the Steam Curator platform. But to my dismay, they haven't responded to any of my emails except for those related to a bug on the Steam Curator dashboard. I'm sharing this video as a final attempt to urge Steam to take action and, quite frankly, fix their shit. The harmful actors on this platform have negatively impacted both the user's experience and the genuine Steam curators that go unheard. Valve should listen to the people who use its platform daily and address the problems at hand, rather than sweeping them under the rug. The concept of curators provides a unique perspective and value when it comes to filtering out games based on quality, and fixes should be made to the existing platform to please everyone. Find a solution, but please stop continuing to stay silent.